Hello everyone, Tommy with Studio Sense here. Glad that you stopped by because today we're talking about a fragrance that's been wafting through rooms and institutions since 1978, and it doesn't look like it's going to be retiring the Polo mallet, you know, that thing they use to hit the ball when they're on the horse, anytime soon. So today we're going to be going over the best of the Ralph Lauren Polo line in a top 10 fashion, starting with number 10 and going all the way down to what I think the number one Polo fragrance that is currently available is right now. So I've got that and more coming up right after this. Welcome back everyone. Now just a quick disclaimer, there are quite a few Polo fragrances that have been discontinued. One of the best, Polo Red Extreme, a very powdery, coffee-esque kind of masculine fragrance. And there was a series that was called the Supreme series, Polo Supreme Cashmere, Polo Supreme Leather. Some of the best fragrance entries in a masculine catalog a man could ever want, but unfortunately no longer available. So we're not talking about the Polo fragrances that have been discontinued or are no longer available. The ones we're talking about today in a top 10 rating are going to be ones you can actually purchase online or go to your rack store and purchase right now. Having said that, let's go ahead and jump into our list. Coming in at number 10 is a Polo fragrance that's still around, still being used, still kind of one of my favorite. Early on in my fragrance days, I started wearing this and really enjoyed it, and it is Polo Red, the original Eau de Toilette. Polo Red came out in 2013, and its claim to fame is that all the notes that are featured in it are red, like cranberry, red grapefruit, red thyme, red sage. The base has red woods and a coffee berry, which is red. So it's a very kind of lightly fruity, woodsy, lightly powdery sport fragrance, as it were. Still a really good fragrance and entry into the Polo catalog, but not the best, and that's why it's coming in at number 10, Polo Red, the EDT. Coming in at number 9 in the Polo lineup is Polo Black. This was launched in 2005, one of the first fragrances that decided to feature the note of ozone. This opens up with mango, lemon, cardamom, mandarin orange, so very fruity, and in the heart is where you get that ozone note along with some florals like jasmine and artemisia. Then it rests on a basic woodsy, lightly sweet tonka bean base. Just an overall great everyday wear, but Polo Black never really got off the ground and went anywhere outstanding, and that's why it's coming in at number 9. Coming in at number 8 in the Polo lineup was a fragrance released not that long ago, back in 2020, so what, 5 years ago, is a very playful entry in the blue genre of fragrances, and that is Polo Deep Blue Parfum. This one opens with fruits. It's got cypress, sage, geranium, that kind of ode to the balsamy pine. This one is a bit more playful and a bit better of an entry in the blue fragrance genre, and it has that whole crystal fizz, which is an aroma chemical that gives it kind of this, almost like a combination of ginger and pepper. It's a little bit more youthful, and that's why it's coming in at number 8. Polo Deep Blue Parfum. Coming in at number 7 is a fragrance that was released 2 years after Polo Deep Blue Parfum, and it's still within the blue genre of fragrances. It's Polo Blue Parfum. So everything that you like about Deep Blue Parfum, this is a little bit more refined and a little bit more mature. Still though, a very blue fragrance, but not the oceanic, salty, briny blue fragrance. This is more of the refined, fresh, fruity, woodsy blue, and that's why it's coming in at number 7. Polo Deep Blue Parfum. Coming in at number 6 is another Parfum version, this time in the red line. So it's Polo Red Parfum. This came out in 2023. This one has a heart of lavender, absinthe, and orris root, which is kind of like the portion of iris, the root of iris, where that makeup-y, waxy smell comes from. Very well done in Polo Red Parfum, and it's again very, very fresh, very fruity, and yet more on the refined side. Polo Red Parfum is a great entry in the Polo Red line, though it doesn't quite cast a shadow on the Polo Red EDP. And that's why it's coming in at number 6 in my top 10 Polo fragrances by Ralph Lauren. Since we're now down to my top 5 Polo fragrances, coming in at number 5 is Polo Red, the Eau de Parfum. Now the Eau de Parfum is just a bit better than the Parfum simply because of the way that it presents. It's very cranberry focused, yet it's not so cranberry that if you don't like the smell of cranberry that you would be offended by it. It's more of a fresh, fruity, woodsy, light sport powdery fragrance. Insofar as a blue genre fragrance doesn't have to have salt and brine in it to be blue, this doesn't have to have like an infusion of red berries to be a red fragrance. But it's a great representation of a berry-esque kind of a refined, masculine, woodsy, fruity fragrance for men, and that's why it's coming in at number 5 in my top 10 Polo fragrances by Ralph Lauren. Coming in at number 4 is a 2021 Polo release. It's Polo Cologne Intense. What they basically did is they took the original 1978 formula, they revamped it and modernized it and packaged it in something that is reminiscent to the old presentation. And guys, let me just tell you, although I love the original Polo, this is very much an improvement on that, but you can't add a price to nostalgic value. And so that's why this is coming in at number 4, not higher. But it could rate a higher place. It really just depends on your druthers. That's a weird word, druthers. Depends on your opinion or your, how you feel about the fragrance. Your own personal ranking. As far as I'm concerned, this is coming in at number 4. But it's a soft 4. It could definitely stand to be moved up into a higher position. Harkens back to that whole vetiver green, mossy, fresh, kind of more pine-oriented fragrance, again with a more modern spin on it, and that's why it's coming in at number 4. Of course, after saying that, coming in at number 3 would be the original 1978 Polo, the OG. What a powerhouse this fragrance still is to this day. Now, it has quite likely seen maybe more than one reformulation, still very much that mossy, grassy, green, very pine-oriented, like pine cone, pine forest, evergreen type fragrance that we all know and love. When you smell it, you're immediately transported back to when you originally wore it or smelled it on someone else and experienced it. So it definitely has an intrinsic nostalgic value, but it's definitely one of those classic men's fragrances that stands up to scrutiny to the newer fragrances even today, and that's why it's coming in at number 3. The original Polo, 1978. Coming in at number 2 in my top 10 Polo fragrances by Ralph Lauren is a newer release. 2023 was when it was launched, and it's Polo Oud. Starter oud is a phrase that we've kicked around in the fragrance community for a while because oud can be kind of harsh and animalic and intense and too smoky for some people. The way that it's presented in Polo Oud, there's rose absolute, orange blossom, some resins like frankincense that help introduce you to the note of oud without it being too harsh. It's a beautiful fragrance. If you haven't tried it out, I highly recommend it, and that's why Polo Oud, the 2023 release, is coming in at number 2. All right, everyone, it's time to reveal the top Polo fragrance, or what I consider the best Polo fragrance. And to me, it's the best representation of what Polo is all about. Polo is a sport, so it has to be kind of a sporty fragrance, and it has to be kind of fruity, woodsy, and overall just a fantastic everyday wear. And I think Polo 67, the newest release, the 2025 Eau de Parfum version of Polo 67, because there is a EDT version, but this newest EDP is everything that you like about Polo 67 better and more. They succeeded in making it even better and even fresher and even more longer lasting. Everything that you would like in a fresh masculine signature scent is in Polo 67 EDP, and that's why it's coming in as number 1. That's a wrap on today's video, although I do know that my list may be a little bit different than the way that you would rank them, and that's completely fine. For those of you that don't have experience, or a lot of experience at least, in the Polo lineup though, I wanted to give you a heads up. These are all the ones that are currently available for you to purchase either online or at rack stores. Try to get some samples if you can, but Ralph Lauren did a good job of making them all mass appealing. Many of them are compliment pullers. The closer you get to number 1, the better that they pull compliments, FYI. But let everyone know which are your favorite Polo fragrances in the comments. Guys, thanks so much for tuning in today. As always, thank you so much for your continued support on my channel. I'm Tommy with Studio Sense, and you and your family have an awesome, safe day out there, and I'll see you tomorrow with another video review.